Hey, folks, strap in, because today on Boss Economics World, we're diving headfirst into the economic dumpster fire that is the Trump administration's latest brainchild, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or as I like to call it, the Department of Glorified Economic Sabotage. Oh, and spoiler alert, the government's mismanagement is, once again, sending us barreling toward a recession faster than you can say, tariff tantrum. So, grab your calculators, your anxiety meds, and let's break down this mess, from the surface-level clownery to the deep, dark economic abyss underneath. Here we go. Let's start with the headlines, shall we? The Trump administration, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that the best way to make America great again is to fire 500,000 people. Yes, you heard that right, 500,000 jobs could vanish by the end of 2025, according to estimates from heavyweights like Comerica Bank, Evercore ISI, and Barclays. And this isn't just some abstract number on a spreadsheet. We're talking real people, federal workers, private sector contractors, and the baristas who used to serve them their morning lattes, all thrown under the bus in the name of efficiency. Now, the White House, through spokesperson Harrison Fields, is spinning this as a heroic crusade against waste, fraud, and abuse. Oh, how noble. But let's cut through the PR fluff, shall we? This isn't efficiency, it's economic vandalism. Bloomberg Economics reports that tens of thousands of federal jobs have already been axed in the 6 weeks since Trump took office. And it's not just the feds getting the boot, private sector firms that rely on government contracts are slashing payrolls faster than a reality TV host fires contestants. Take DAI Global LLC in Bethesda, Maryland, for example. They laid off over 500 employees because the feds ghosted them on payments for work already done. Nearby, Encompass LLC in Silver Spring sacked nearly 200 people thanks to a USAID funding freeze. Gee, I wonder what happens when you stop paying people for their work. Oh right, they stop working. And don't think this is just a Washington, D.C. problem. The ripple effects are already hitting universities, nonprofits, and even the local diner where federal workers used to grab lunch. Pantheon Macroeconomics predicts a net drag of 100,000 private sector jobs by October 2025, all because of lost income and general uncertainty caused by DOGE's erratic, bull-in-a-China-shop approach. Folks, this isn't efficiency, it's economic self-sabotage, and the government is holding the sledgehammer. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just about a few thousand laid-off paper pushers. This is about the labor market, the beating heart of the U.S. economy, getting kneecapped at the worst possible time. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, the U.S. added 2.1 million jobs in 2024, a solid year of growth. But here's the kicker, Trump's DOGE purge could wipe out a quarter of that progress in one fell swoop. That's right, folks, 25% of last year's hard-fought gains, gone, poof, just like that. And don't hold your breath for the February jobs report to reveal the full extent of the damage. The BLS data collection happened in early February, before the cuts really kicked into high gear. But mark my words, come March and April, the numbers are going to look uglier than a tax audit. The White House has already ordered federal agencies to submit plans for large-scale reductions in force by March 13, and thousands of workers are reportedly taking early resignation deals just to escape the chaos. Can you blame them? Who wants to stick around on a sinking ship? But wait, there's more. States like New York and Maryland are trying to play hero by scooping up some of these newly unemployed workers. New York's "New York Wants You" campaign is plastering ads at Union Station, practically begging federal workers to move upstate. Maryland's Labor Secretary Portia Wu says they're seeing a surge in interest in programs to help laid-off workers. But let's be real, state and local governments can't possibly absorb 500,000 displaced workers. As the Maryland governor's office admitted, there are not enough state jobs for every federal worker. And here's the kicker, states might soon face their own budget cuts if federal funding dries up. Talk about a double whammy. Now, let's dig into the real meat of this economic horror show, consumer spending, or as I like to call it, the lifeblood of the U.S. economy. Consumer spending accounts for roughly 70% of U.S. GDP, according to the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA. So, what happens when you fire 500,000 people, create uncertainty for millions more, and tank entire industries that depend on government contracts? I'll tell you what happens, people stop spending. They stop going to restaurants, they stop booking hotel rooms, and they sure as heck stop buying that new car they were eyeing. Pantheon Macroeconomics is already warning of a pullback in spending and hiring as the lost income from federal job cuts ripples through the economy. And let's not forget Wall Street, because the suits in lower Manhattan are already sweating bullets. Higher unemployment? Check. Lower consumer spending? Check. And just for good measure, Trump's busy reigniting the trade war with new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, not to mention his obsession with mass deportations, which could disrupt labor markets even further. The S&P 500 has already dropped 3% in the past month, according to Yahoo Finance, as investors brace for the fallout. And Goldman Sachs recently revised its 2025 GDP growth forecast downward from 2.5% to 1.8%, citing policy uncertainty and labor market headwinds. Folks, this isn't just a speed bump, it's a freight train of economic pain headed straight for Main Street. But here's where it gets really juicy. Pantheon Macroeconomics says DOGE's actions alone probably won't tip the economy into recession. Oh, how comforting. But let's not kid ourselves, add in the trade war, the deportation chaos, and the fact that the Federal Reserve is already walking a tightrope with interest rates, and you've got a recipe for disaster. The Fed's latest beige book, released in January 2025, noted softening labor market conditions and declining consumer confidence in several regions. And with unemployment ticking up, projections from Moody's Analytics suggest it could hit 4.8% by Q3 2025, the Fed might have to slash rates again, risking inflation just as the economy stalls. Brilliant strategy, folks. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, because this isn't just about bad policy, it's about government mismanagement so egregious it makes a clown car look like a well-oiled machine. The Trump administration, with its DOGE attack dog led by none other than Elon Musk, is treating the federal government like a reality TV set, firing people left and right without a shred of strategic planning. Efficiency? Ha! This is chaos masquerading as reform. Cutting jobs and contracts without a clear plan for replacing those economic inputs is like draining the oil from your car and expecting it to run better. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. And let's talk about the hypocrisy for a second. Trump campaigned on jobs, 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 but here he is, gleefully torching 500,000 of them. Remember his 2016 promise to bring back manufacturing jobs? Well, the latest data from the BLS shows manufacturing employment has been flat since 2023, and now his policies are actively destroying jobs in both the public and private sectors. Meanwhile, his tariffs are jacking up costs for American businesses. U.S. Customs Service data shows the average tariff rate on Chinese goods is now 25%, up from 12% in 2024, driving inflation and killing competitiveness. Oh, and don't forget the mass deportation plan, which the American Immigration Council estimates could shrink the labor force by 6.4 million workers, further choking industries like agriculture, construction, and hospitality. Great job, Mr. President, really sticking it to the working class. So, there you have it, folks, another day, another dollar, and another 500,000 jobs flushed down the Trumpian toilet. The Department of Government Efficiency? More like the Department of Glorified Economic Stupidity. And let's not forget our fearless leader, Elon Musk, who's proving once again that running a government is just like running a Tesla factory, except, it's not. But hey, at least we've got tariffs, deportations, and a looming recession to keep things spicy. Remember, folks, this is what happens when you let reality TV stars and tech brothers run the economy. Tune in next week, when we'll probably be discussing how to barter for canned goods in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Until then, this is Boss Economics World, reminding you, the government's not here to help, it's here to help itself, to your jobs. For the everyday folks watching at home, this is a wake-up call. Your job, your spending power, and your economic future are all on the line, thanks to a government that prioritizes political theater over sound policy. And for the finance pros in the audience, it's time to start stress testing your portfolios, because the volatility is just getting started. The data doesn't lie, whether it's the BLS jobs numbers, the BEA's consumer spending stats, or Goldman Sachs GDP forecasts, the warning signs are flashing red. So, buckle up, because the DOGE days are here, and they're barking up all the wrong trees.